After the communist regime fell and the Iron Curtain was no more, Romania was bombarded with a lot of Western movies, and they were absolutely amazing. I mean, they were completely mind-blowing compared to what communist filth we were getting here for entertainment. And I remember that the Romanian television would take the Oscars, they would translate them, and then they would show it here. And it was a family event. Like everyone, from all the people that I knew, would gather up around the television with their families, and they would watch the Oscars. Now, I don't know if it was the same in your country, but I'm legitimately curious. Like here, it was a cultural thing to watch the Oscars. Like people were really excited to see what movie is going to get what Oscar. And people were also recommending movies based on the Oscars that they were getting. So, for example, Titanic was highly recommended because it was a movie that I would personally not even watch, but it's like it's got like 7 Oscars or whatever. You know, I forgot how many it got. But like, you get the point. And I think it all went to shit a couple of years ago when, for no reason whatsoever, the hashtag on the Twitter came up with Oscars so white. To me, it looked as if the Nazis have taken over and they're like doing the Oscars so Jewish. I mean, it was literally the same energy. Exactly the same energy. Like, they weren't complaining that maybe this movie should have gotten an Oscar or maybe that movie shouldn't have gotten an Oscar. No, they were like racially profiling the people there. They were looking at the ancestry, the 23andMe, the eugenics experts, where, you know, looking at the dimples of the skulls on the actors, and they were like, no, this is not cool. Which is kind of funny because if you look at that particular year, you actually notice that the number of black people winning Oscars was around 13%, which was exactly the same as the demographic of black people in the United States, you know? But again, like, assuming that just because you have this demographic, the same number of actors need to win the awards is ridiculous. I mean, not all black people in America are making movies, so that, right, like, you should look at the demographic that is actually in the movies, you know, whatever, you know, I don't care. But this idea that a prize should now be given to skin color, it's appalling to me. It's Nazi energy. That's how I view it. You know, it's exactly like the National Socialists have gotten at the Oscars and they're looking, it's like, oh man, too many Jewish people are winning. No, we can't have that. We need to change it, right? So now I see articles with people upset that whenever a black person wins an Oscar, they have other people on Twitter saying, well, you know, like they have to give the awards to black people. I mean, right, you know, you can't really not give them something. And they're upset that it's like, it's not assumed that they're getting it on merit. And I'm like, sorry, but like, have you seen the political environment surrounding the Oscars? Like, of course people are going to assume. But it's so offensive. Like, honestly, if they did this to Romanians, I would actually speak out because it's offensive, right? Like, they're now making special categories for black people. And it's like the same thing with the Olympics. Like, why don't we put men and women to fight together at boxing, right? Like, why do we have like separate kickboxing for men and kickboxing for women? It's because biologically, women are not as strong as men, right? Like, the average woman is not just as good as the average man. So what they're saying here, like what they're actually saying is that minorities aren't as good as the Jewish people winning the Oscars, so therefore you need to artificially balance the scale. I mean, that's offensive as hell. That is absolutely ridiculous, but you know, it is what it is. And it got to the point where one person on the jury, which was a good actor and he had nothing wrong that he done, was made to step down just because he was white and he was replaced with someone else. So, you know, like Sticks, Axe, and Hammer, and I think myself as well, that I believe that the reason they're doing this is in order to get the woke people off their backs. You know, to basically say, well, look, now we're really inclusive, now we're advocating for this, and you can't say Oscar's so white when you get this. But the problem is, like, no one is going to care about the Oscar anymore. No one is going to care who won an award because the game is rigged now, right? Like, you're not doing the best competition for the actor. You're the correct skin color, the correct politics, and all the other nonsense. Which goes to show, like, recently, I think in 2014, The Guardian was advocating, when it comes to orchestra and music, to have blind auditions, right? And it makes sense. And this year, I see The Guardian making an article suggesting that blind auditions need to be over because they don't work really well with diversity, right? Like how can you hire diverse people if you don't see the correct skin color? And this is where the culture is going, right? Like California is repealing an act that's supposed to be against discrimination. Like this is where the left is going now. It's Nazi energy, like literally that. Like critical race theory, they call it. Remove the word critical and you have what it is, race theory. Like these people are racist. Like that is the definition of the word. Like capitalist, the ideology of capital, right? Socialist, the ideology of social masses. Racist, the ideology based on race. This is what they're doing. Like literally this. And everyone is clapping and everyone is cheering. You know what's even more interesting about Hollywood? Just so you can see how much it has fallen. I remember like when I grew up, there were a couple of celebrities, like, oh my god, that's Jean-Claude Van Damme, and you would go to watch movies with Jean-Claude Van Damme because he was like really cool. And Chuck Norris. Oh my god, do you know Arnold Schwarzenegger is pushing out a new movie? Oh, I have to see it. Nowadays, it's like, I don't even know the names of the actors. It's like, oh yeah, the movie where, the actor who plays Thor stars in. That's the movie where Khal Drogo is playing it. Like, I don't even know the names of these people. I literally do not know. Like, I don't even care. It used to be like a whole family thing. It's like, oh, this new movie is coming out. Let's go to the cinema. So not only now that you have that, but now you have this. I'm really curious to see how many people are going to watch the Oscars this year. Like, it's the same with NBA. Is now the same with the Oscars. Like, these people are running down these very profitable and very well-respected and publicized events into the ground. They're running them right into the ground. I don't know why. But, like, they just they can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop, I guess. So, the Academy Aperture 2025 initiative, the standards encompass both representation on screen and the types of stories being told and the actors involved, as well as behind the scenes in the makeup of the crew and inclusivity of the companies involved. So it's literally like China. Like if you want to work with China, you have to make sure that a couple of actors are Chinese and they shoot a couple of pictures in China, because otherwise you can't market that movie in that country. Really ridiculous. And I want to point out that I don't give a crap about diversity. Like, that's not what makes a good movie. I mean, right now I'm watching Korean TV shows. Alright, like there is nothing that I care which comes out from Hollywood. So I would rather watch shows like The Kingdom. I would rather watch Train to Busan. Like movies that only have Koreans. There's not a single white person in there, but they are far better than the crap that Hollywood is making. Like, I'm willing to bet, give it like 1 or 2 years, and Bollywood is going to overtake Hollywood. Like, I'm going to sit down in front of the TV and watch some Bollywood sing-along with, honey, 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 that's going to be more interesting than whatever Hollywood is producing right now. Like, is there even something original that Hollywood is making? Like, literally all they do now, sequels, reboots, and remakes. That is literally it. They take a movie that used to be popular, has a lot of people watching, and then they put a twist on it and it's like, oh, now it's a feminist film. You want to watch a feminist film, don't you? You don't, you're a misogynist. Hey everyone, this guy is a misogynist. He doesn't want to watch the film. Don't you hate misogynists? Yes, you do. You know what you can do? Watch our film. Give us your body to show how you can stick it to misogynists. That's literally what's going on, Like, I mean, the last movie that was good was The Joker. That's the one that I like. Because it spoke to the working class man. It spoke to me in a way that other movies didn't. Was it about diversity? Because I don't know. Like, I mean, that chick that the Joker was a minority, But other than that, no. So, but I'm so sick and tired to see what the left is doing. Like, they take things that used to be popular, that a lot of people watch, they destroy them from within like a parasite. They just destroy everything that is, and then they wear the carcass like a little husk, and they demand the same respect for that thing like it used to have before they consumed it. It's disgusting. They do it with IPs, now they're doing it with the words. And the reason they do it with the words is, by the way, so that the movie makers now, if they want an award, well, they have to do all of this crap. It's kind of funny, like they talk about LGBTQ representation. Yeah. Over China's dead body, you're going to have LGBTQ representation in movies. No, here's the thing. Like, this is why it's very interesting, because China doesn't like gay people in their movies, right? So Hollywood, they want to market to China. Yes, Hollywood, that's very progressive, very inclusive, very LGBTQ, LMNOP. They really care about gay people, but they can't really put them on the big screen because then China doesn't allow their movie there, so they're losing money. So it's all about the Benjamin, right? I mean, look at TV shows. TV shows are filled with LGBT characters. Like, I like to play a game. Name me a TV show that came after 2016 that doesn't have a gay character, and I will name you a blockbuster movie from the big screen after 2016 that has a gay character. You'll not find an example, right? And this is why, because it's all about the Chinese market, baby. That's what they care about. They care about making money. They don't care about this shit. You know, like, they think that if they please the woke, they will go away. The woke will not go away. Like, you're going to see that the Oscars are going to be even more attacked now. And by the way, like, it's also interesting. Like, if I want to make a movie about some historical event, like, let's say I want to make a movie about the Roman Empire, right? And everyone there is white. Can't get an Oscar now, can you? Right? If you make a historical movie like a Band of Brothers from World War II, where, you know, like, let's say I make a movie from the German side of World War II. You know, like, they just have a couple of Germans that are on the front and they're fighting. You're not going to get an Oscar now, are you? Because there's no black people. Like, honestly, to troll them, they should actually make a black Hitler. Like, it's going to come. One of these days, you're going to have a movie with a black Hitler in it. Just to have, like, a checkbox for representation. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section.